All right, you should be live now.
Do we have to start that over?
What's up, Pizzle? How's it going? We are going over horror headlines. Yeah, we can just go ahead. Let's just go right into the fourth headline, and then we can recap everything at the end. What's the fourth headline of the week? We're doing great, Pizzle.
I was so confused. I was like, I don't see the live button anywhere. All right, our fourth headline comes again from BladeDisgusting.com, and it's about Abigail. Abigail just outgrossed fellow Universal monster vampire movies Renfield and Last Voyage of the Demeter.
That's not hard to do.
That's really not hard to do. It says now in its second week of release, the Radio Silence directed Abigail is the third Universal vampire movie released in the last year, along in the wake of period piece The Last Voyage of the Demeter and horror comedy Renfield. All three films have struggled at the box office, but Abigail at least has some good news to celebrate this week. Renfield came along first in April 2023, ending its run with $26.4 million, while Last Voyage of the Demeter ended its own run with a mere $21.7. The vampire ballerina movie Abigail has already outgrossed both films, hitting $28.5 million at the worldwide box office. The bad news is that Abigail's reported budget was $28 million, so it seems unlikely to make a profit at the box office when you factor in marketing, spent, and everything else on top of that figure. And that's already especially a bummer because Abigail is such a crowd-pleasing good time, with most horror fans agreeing that it's one of the year's best movies thus far. And then they go into more of the information about what Abigail is about. So, sucks that Abigail's not making the type of money that I think it should. We still
have the worldwide box office, right? So there's a chance we can make it back. Before we get into that, Pizzle asked, did I catch Godzilla -1? Yes. And I think, Hunter, did you see Godzilla -1?
I have not. I need to watch it. I just haven't.
They're really holding back the physical media release of Godzilla -1. I enjoyed Godzilla -1.
And the streaming release. I'm waiting for it to come on streaming because it's nowhere in my local theaters anymore.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big kaiju. I'm a good kaiju concept guy. I'm not a big Godzilla kaiju person. I think Shin Godzilla was embarrassing. I didn't like it at all. But Godzilla -1 is great. I think just the way Godzilla looks in Shin Godzilla is weird. It looks weird.
That's fair.
Yeah. But Godzilla -1 finally, in a MonsterVerse or MonsterVerse-esque one step to the side movie, we got an actual real human story that wasn't just secondary to oh my god, this freaking monster's destroying everything. But put a pin in that. We can come back to the Godzilla discussion at the end. The Abigail news is sad to me. I am a big proponent of Abigail. I think Abigail is is going to make my top 10 this year.
Me too.
I do think, if I had to explain it, the marketing for Abigail was bad. All of the stuff, the feedback I'm hearing from people that watched it is wow, I wish they didn't give away that she was a vampire in the poster and in the trailer.
I agree.
But for the first half hour of the movie, you're in there with the characters, and
you know that she's already a vampire.
Yeah, they don't know, but we know. We already know. So when you go with that kind of knowledge, that's going to sour a lot of people that aren't diehard Radio Silence people. And I think that therein lies the problem, because they went and they told their friends, and their friends just didn't go see the movie.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's I know a lot of people say, all right, well, how would you have marketed differently? What I would do is I would make the marketing completely simple. Radio Silence has a new monster movie, but you don't reveal who the monster is. You don't reveal that it's Abigail. You don't reveal what it is. You just reveal, they kidnapped the monster. You don't know what the monster is, and it's got this great cast, and it's got Radio Silence behind it. Market that.
You keep the trailer exactly the same, right? They kidnap this girl, and then there's something in the house killing the kidnappers. You just leave out that scene where she's you leave that whole scene out. You leave everything else in the trailer. You don't show her. And you can even have the scene where Kevin Durant's there's a vampire on my ass, and you don't know she's the vampire.
Yeah, you expect that it's like another vampire.
You could still even reveal the name of the movie as Abigail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can have like, oh, we kidnapped Abigail. And the whole thing is just how Abigail's kidnapping goes to shit. You don't need to reveal that she's a vampire. I think they just don't do that. This is making the money you expect it to make.
Oh, yeah. Because Radio Silence with the Scream 5 and Scream 6, those were the... What I believe Scream 6 was the highest grossing Scream movie of all time.
Even
box office wise.
Okay. And like, honestly, I'll be honest with you. I think you're a bigger Scream fan than I am, and I'm a pretty big Scream fan. I know that no one's topping you. My biggest complaint with the Radio Silence Scream era is like everyone's constitution is an 18. You know, like Chad gets stabbed like 80 times, and it's just, oh gosh, yeah.
I've got thoughts about that. I don't mind that as much as a lot of people do, mostly because of what Radio Silence said in they're doing an interview talking about Scream 6, and they were like, we had to kill off Dewey in Scream 5 just so our movie would have stakes. I get it. I understand that. For this one, they wanted to go back more towards the original Scream, where not a lot of our main characters were dead at the end of it. And that, like, because they killed off Dewey, they felt like in this one, if we killed off another one of our core 4, or we killed off, Gale, that it would not only turn the fans against them even more, but it'd be like, this is not the type of movie we wanted to make. Scream 2 didn't have a lot of main characters dying, things like
Randy
that.
died.
I mean, yes, Randy died, and people still hate that, but the idea that, like, we took away Dewey, so we're not taking away anybody else, I respect that. And it doesn't really bother me as much, because there are some stuff in the Scream movies that, like, you just have to look past. Like, there's no way that fucking Jill in Scream 4 murdered almost everybody. There's no way that was it not Mickey, but Scream 3.
Roman?
Yeah, that Roman did everything by himself and, like, fucking leaped over Lee Schreiber, like, threw him over that table. That's not possible. So I kind of just look past that stuff personally, but
yeah, I mean, like, there's always some suspension of disbelief with Scream.
Yeah.
I do just think Radio Silence pushed that envelope to the point where it bordered on parody.
to be fair, they could have made that scene so much better by just having him get stabbed twice, one by one guy's face, one by the other, and then it cuts.
Yeah, because they go to town. It's not even that. It's that plus the fact that, like, Mindy gets stabbed full on in the stomach and is walking with no assistance. Like, it goes a little overboard.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, okay, the Abigail news is sad. I will suspend judgment. It does not look good. The worldwide box office might make up the difference. I don't really know, because I think in 2024 the horror community is linked worldwide. Like, the news, like, what fans in Canada, fans in Europe, fans in Australia already know. It's like they're marketing the movie any different. YouTube is YouTube.
Yeah.
So, like, the damage might be done, and it's a lesson learned. It's a great movie, and I think in hindsight, people are going to love this movie. But the marketing of it might have done irreparable damage to the box office.
Do you think that Abigail could become like a cult classic, one that gets good reviews, almost like a Reanimator?
It would be a cult classic, because cult classic, to me, one of the, like, core characteristics of a cult classic is it's not a mainstream movie. It's not promoted as a mainstream movie. Abigail is a mainstream movie by, like, established.
That's fair.
So will it be like a Slept On? Maybe. I don't know. If they really are going to do another one, I think they have the juice in Hollywood to just do another movie. And even if they don't necessarily do an Abigail 2 or whatever, if they just do another movie in the same universe, like they're doing Ready or Not 2, like, that has the power to bring stuff in. Like, you look at the Conjuring universe, right? Like, there's some movies in the Conjuring universe that are straight garbage, but the Conjuring plotline is solid,
Yep.
So, like, you have a Conjuring 2 that allows you to make the Nun 2, So
yeah, that's fair.
Whatever.
It does suck that, like, we get this, I would say, kind of unique vampire movie in Abigail, and that it doesn't do that well. I mean, I get it. It's taking from a lot of other movies, but I mean, it's not an IP. It's not like a popular franchise. And a lot of people say, oh, Hollywood is only doing remakes. They're only doing sequels. But the original movies aren't making money.
We got Pizzle saying should have left it to James Wan. I would agree, but I think if you're James Wan and the DC universe comes and offers you Aquaman, you do Aquaman. I mean, like I could do The Conjuring 3 or I could do Aquaman. I would also do Aquaman.
He did Aquaman just so Warner Brothers would fund Malignant. That was I'll do one for you, you do one for me.
Yeah, great play because Malignant slaps. I mean,
Malignant is so good.
Yeah. All right, if you just joined us, the topics we covered at the beginning, we had Shelby Oaks we talked about. We talked about the new stills that came out from Maxine. And what was the first story we talked about, Hunter?
The Winnie the Pooh versus the Mickey Mouse.
Every Disney intellectual property is getting a horror movie. They're already talking about doing a Winnie the Pooh Mickey Mouse crossover. Pump the brakes on that. If you got opinions on these Disney horror movies, the Maxine stills that came out today, or Shelby Oaks, you can drop that stuff in the chat as well. Or just any question you got. We're opening it up to the people out there. I am John Morrow from I Love Horror. That is Hunter Shambliss from Welcome to Primetime and the Nerd Entertainment Network. This is Horror Headlines from the week of May 2nd. And that's it. So how are you guys doing out there? Please feel free to share the live, share wherever you are. Do we have any comments coming in from the Facebook or the YouTube, Hunter?
I do not see any right now, but I will be keeping track of them right here. What should we talk about, John, since we already went through all four of our topics?
Yeah, I had tickets to go see Taro today, but my son needed to go to urgent care because he's a wrestler and he had ringworm, so I had to take him to the urgent care. So I did cancel my tickets to Taro, but I'm really hearing that movie. I'm hearing bad things about Taro. What are you hearing about Taro?
I didn't even know what this movie was about, if I'm being honest. I haven't heard anything on it. Haven't heard anything about it. I just was looking up movies at my local theater, and they were playing this movie. I don't know what it's even about at this point.
I'm gonna see it. I gotta cover it on Why We Love Horror. I think the original working title of this movie was Horoscope, which Aaron Brooks, my co-host, has said is a way better title. Why did they change it? So basically, I think if I'm going by what they say in the trailer, there's like a long-standing like old wives' tale where if you do a tarot reading and you don't own the deck of cards yourself, if I borrow your deck of tarot cards and do it, like I open a door to like anger the spirits. So basically, that's what happens. Like this one girl has this tarot deck that doesn't belong to her. She starts doing people's fortunes, and then the people from the card, the characters from the deck, come kill people. So what I had heard is that this is like a shitty version of 13 Ghosts and like a shitty version of some other, like, I forget what they said.
Oh no, not a shitty version of 13 Ghosts
movie. And I was like, well, that sucks. I wasn't like, this was not in my top 10 and most anticipated. I don't think it's going to make my top 10 of the year, but I am a completionist and I will see every horror movie that hits theaters, and I will be seeing Taro this weekend. If anybody out there has seen Taro, let me know. I don't mind. You can spoil it. You can tell them. Let me know what you thought. I'm willing to hear what everybody has to say about Taro in the comments.
I am not horror related at all, but I'm going to go see Challengers tomorrow.
Challengers is freaking awesome.
I can't wait to see it. I'm so excited to see it.
I'm not going to spoil anything about Challengers because the movie, once you're like a half hour into that movie, you know exactly what that movie's about. But cinematography and the risks they take with some of the shots they do in Challengers is great. Like, I'm not a big tennis fan, but that movie made me a fan of the game of tennis that was being played in that movie, because the shots, the way they shoot the tennis action is really, really innovative. Like, I'll say that. Really innovative. All the characters are strong. It's a good movie. So yeah, let me know if you thought that. It's a longer movie, but doesn't feel long. So that's.
Yeah, I also watched Civil War, as I said before. I watched that last weekend. Have you seen that yet?
I've seen Civil War. All the people who are like making the movie political, it's not really. I mean, It is political if you're really paying attention, but if you just turn your mind off and you just pay attention to like the tone of the movie, that's the real message, not the politics behind it. So it's really just
I don't even think it was that political of a movie, personally.
They sprinkle in some stuff where like the people that want to see what they want to see can see it.
Yeah.
But you can just ignore all that stuff, and it's still a very, very, very strong movie. Alex Garland has returned to form. Is it as good as Ex Machina? It's debatable. It's debatable. This weekend I'll be seeing Taro. I'm probably going to see The Fall Guy. And then third movie on my A-list this week to be determined.
You're so lucky to have A-list, man. I don't have any AMC theaters near me. So
there's a new animated movie that's out called Dragon Keeper. I'll probably take my daughter to see that. I have no idea what it's about.
There you go.
I imagine it's about dragons.
I would hope so.
If there's no dragons in that movie, I'll be very upset.
That's I would be too.
Yeah.
I'm seeing Challengers this weekend. I'll probably try to go see Fall Guy next weekend.
Yeah. But I think just for this week, I think we'll wind it down. We'll be back next week with less technical difficulties. On the May 9th, we'll be back with at least 4 or 5 more headlines for you. Mm-hmm. If you want to find us, I'm here on the WWL Horror on TikTok. It's also WWL Horror on YouTube for more long-form stuff. Hunter is at the Nerd Entertainment Network. If you search that up on TikTok, you'll find him. And over on YouTube, it is Welcome to Primetime Nerd Entertainment Network. You can find him there. Until next time, this has been Horror Headlines. So hit him with that great outro, Hunter.
Stay scared, everybody.
In the street.